In this video, I want to share with you my tattooing process from placing down a stencil to technically applying a tattoo. Should you have any questions at any point throughout this video, I encourage you to drop a comment down below. I'll do my absolute best to assist in the best possible direction. If you find this video helpful, consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to my YouTube channel, as I will be bringing more videos like this for you. Let me break down what's going on my station here. Over to the right, I have some MD WipeOutz napkins, which are sterile tattoo wipes. Above that, I have my Phantom tattoo gloves, and above that, I have a piece of Sanoderm. You can see in the middle, I have a rinse cup with the stencil ready to be placed inside there. As you can see, I have a wooden stick, and below that, I have an assortment of caps. Within those caps, I have Intenze Formula 23 tattoo ink broken down into a custom gray wash system. And below that, I have Inky's green ointment. Next to that on the left, I have a small assortment of tattoo needles that I will be using for this tattoo. Next to that, I have a razor. Above that, I have a adhesive wrap bandage. And above that, I have my rinse bottle with a solution of green soap and distilled water. I believe it's like 70% distilled water and then like 20% green soap, 30% green soap. You get the idea. You could do any sort of solution that you feel would match skin sensitivity on your end. Honestly, I'm not sure. I would recommend doing like 80-20. You don't really need the solution too strong. But that right there is my entire tattooing setup. I believe the workstation itself is going to be from Pole Army. I did an in-depth review on it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to step on over to the skin so you can see the client wanted the tattoo right here. This right here is an alcohol pad. Basically, I'm wiping down the skin and I'm cleaning the skin. I'm beginning to prep the skin before I do anything. So I really want to take my time with this process. I want to make sure that the site that I am about to tattoo is nice and clean and ready to be tattooed. I'll make a different video showing you how I set up my tattoo station as well, but for now we'll stick to the process. So what I'm doing right now is focusing on prepping the skin. Right here I'm using Stencil Prep and I'm spraying it onto the skin, and this is what I'm going to use to transfer my stencil to the skin. So what I'm going to do specifically is I'm going to spray some Stencil Prep onto the skin, as you see me doing here. I'm going to work it into the skin. After that I'm going to wipe it off, and then from there I'm going to spray another batch there, or another round of Stencil Prep, and then I'm going to really work it into the skin. The idea for Stencil Prep is to change the pH of the skin, and what this is going to do is it's going to make my stencil last the entire session and uphold itself a lot longer. So if you are worried about losing your tattoo stencil, I would recommend trying out Stencil Prep Applicant. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to meticulously place down the bee where I feel it would best sit. I'm going to go ahead and do my best here to apply it by finding the location, placing it down. I'm not going to kind of move it around. I'm not going to like smear it or anything. I'm going to press straight down with a little bit of pressure so that way it can transfer as best as I can get it. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the final reveal, and you can see these are the results that I have. If I take a look, it's kind of running into the leaf right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it by the client to see if they would like it, and if they wouldn't, then I'm going to go ahead and replace it. But I want to do this kind of within like a 1 to 2 minute manner. I'm going to give the client a few moments to decide if the tattoo is right. If not, then we're going to go ahead and move it. To do so, I'm going to essentially repeat the process. This is another alcohol pad, and I'm just simply going to work it into the skin and remove it as best I can. Since the Stencil Prep hasn't had any time to dry, we should be able to get the stencil out with no issues, but you can kind of see that the Stencil Prep went straight to work, and this is essentially what I am left with. What I want to do is remove as much as I can, so I'm spraying my solution here and I'm putting an MD WipeOutz over, and I'm going to go ahead and attempt to loosen up a little bit more just to attempt to lighten it up, because it's really important that I try to get the canvas back to, you know, zero or with no stencil, so to speak. I don't want this to interfere with the new stencil that I'm going to be placing down. So I'm going to do diligence. I'm going to take my absolute time and really just kind of work this out as best I can. You want to be gentle with the skin so that way we don't irritate it before we start tattooing. So taking it back from the top, I'm going to spray a layer of Stencil Prep on there. I'm going to work it into the skin. Once again, the idea for Stencil Prep is to change the pH of the skin so that way we can have a stencil. Once it dries, it's going to be locked in, and we don't really have to worry about it being lost throughout the process. In my opinion, Stencil Prep does work. I did do a full in-depth review on that, so I won't go into it too much here in this video, but that video is available on my YouTube channel. I'll card it up for you above. If I don't, you can head on over to the video section and type in Stencil Prep, and you'll see the video pop right on up. Now, what I'm doing is I'm working the Stencil Prep into the skin until I get this sort of like white lather, as you can see, over the skin. This is how I know that I am now ready to place my stencil. I'm going to repeat the process by trying to identify where I want to place it, and then I'm going to place it down to my liking, also to the best of my ability. I'm not doing anything that I'm not capable of. This is a tattoo that's well within my style range. I am more than capable of moving the tattoo on over a little bit as per the client's request. That is okay too. And this is just the tattooing process. Every tattoo is going to be different. Granted, oftentimes we'll get the tattoo stencil first try, and we would often hope that we do. But in the instance that we don't, this is exactly the process that I would repeat. I would even use ointment sometimes if it was being really stubborn to remove the stencil, but you get the idea. So these are the results that I was kind of looking for when I placed it down the first time. You can see it's not touching the leaf up there, and it is more so kind of flying to what's existing there. So I like this feel right here. Now I could begin the technical application. Depending on the design that I'm doing would determine the needle that I will be using and the setup and the voltage. Before this setup, I'm going to be running an Inkclaw. This is going to be a bug pin 3-round liner. I'm running at 5 volts even, and I'm using the Inkclaw Dagger tattoo machine for this setup right here, along with the gray wash that I made of the Formula 23 Intenze tattooing ink. Now I'm running at a lower voltage because I'm using a very thin line weight, but not only that, I want to get a sort of fur-like texture from this design as opposed to like a hard line design. So again, depending on what we are going for is really going to determine what needles that we are wanting or needing to use rather. The needles that I use also determines the voltage that I'm going to be using. So for example, I'm using a very thin line weight here, which is going to be a bug pin 3-round liner. I'm going to be running anywhere from 4 to 5 volts simply because this needle is easier to penetrate and open the skin. You can see that as running at a lower voltage, I'm using a sort of like whip-like pendulum motion here to create these textures going back and forth. All of this is going to change depending on the design that I'm doing. So for example, if I'm doing mandala style tattoos, I'm not going to approach it like this. I'm definitely not going to be using a bug pin 3-round liner to go ahead and create textures that are not needed within that design. I'm probably going to be lining with like 18-round shaders, 14-round shaders. I probably would be shading with like a 3-round liner, 5-round liner, depending on how big the space is that I need to shade. You get the idea though. But for this specific application, since the B is on the smaller end, it's actually a really small B, I needed to be really accurate with my deposits, and I didn't want a needle that overpowered the details that were already existing. I needed something that captured them just fine. And typically when I am applying a tattoo to human skin, or any tattoo in general really, even if it's a fake skin, I always start with the area that's closest to me, so that way I can kind of knock out an area and then have less stress about losing a stencil throughout the process. With Stencil Prep, I'm not really focused on losing the stencil because once it's locked in there, it really is locked in there. However, if we aren't using Stencil Prep and we are more prone to losing our designs and our stencils, then starting from the area that's close to you and working your way on up to the areas that aren't may be a good way to go. Try that out and see how it goes. Let me know if you do in the comment section down below how it goes for you. But for this, you can see it's exactly what I'm doing. I'm starting with the area that's close to me, and I'm going to be on the opposite side of this B, so you can see where my thumb is placed. That is basically the area that's closest to me. So I'm starting from that point and I'm building my way on up. I'm using textures, pendulum-like motions to capture the integrity that I'm going for. I am going for a sort of fur-like read. I'm not using any sort of hard lines to outline this design in any way, shape, or form. What I'm doing is I'm using that sort of pendulum-like motion to deposit ink in a manner where each line comes in as a taper and out as a taper, and that gives me a sharp edge on both sides. I can curve these lines a little bit, creating fur-like texture. So it really is just dependent on what I am needing to do. It's also important to dab and not wipe. So for me, my tattooing process, especially with a B this delicate, is going to be consisting of a lot of layering and a lot of accuracy and focus. So you can see I use layers to apply those sort of textured looks there in the body, and I'm using a 1-round liner right here from Imala to add these little details right here within the wings. Now all of these little needle fluctuations I do really feel add up and contribute to the final read of the tattoo that we are tattooing. So that is basically what I'm doing now. The needle that I'm using is an Imala 1-round liner to accomplish these results. I believe with the 1-round liner I went as low as the voltage can go, which is 4 volts. So if I'm correct, I'm running at 4 volts right here in this snippet using this Imala 1-round liner. This is one physical needle. So when people say single needle, this is what they mean. This is an actual single needle deposit right here. So I'm depositing ink in kind of like the web area right here of the wings, and I don't know the technical term for this part of the wing here, so forgive me for that, but you can see that I'm depositing the ink in a manner that's reflecting accurately to what is there. And I feel like although it's not perfect, it's definitely depositing in a manner that I'm looking for, and it is also reflecting the integrity of the wing that's already existing. So if the client sees it done, there's not going to be fluctuations from what they agreed upon to what they got. So once I got the foundation going, you can see I use a 1-round liner to kind of start solidifying and tying everything in with some small fine line details. And I'm really letting the tip of the needle do the work for me. With a 1-round liner, it's going to be super easy to penetrate the skin and really do damage if we're not mindful of that. You can see right here that I'm just kind of doing the same thing with putting a, well, not with a thinner line weight, but with a bit of a heavier line weight right down the middle. As you can see, I felt like a little bit of separation would do this tattoo justice right here, as the little lines right there with the 1-round liner were kind of becoming too much to read in one area. It got too busy for me in my personal preference. But this area right here, you can see I'm adding sort of like textures, and this is what I was going for. I was trying to stay away from hard lining this being. I wanted to come out more so, not necessarily realistic, but not hard line and filled in either. From here, I'm going to repeat this process of layering up different textures, pendulum whip motions to accomplish the results that I am looking for. I'm going to do this throughout the entire tattoo until it's complete. We really have to be patient with the entire process. These are the final results that I got. In my opinion, I feel like it came out fantastic. These are the results that I envisioned. So as the artist, I did set out and accomplish what I envisioned and what I wanted to do. I have varying line weights, I have textures. As you can see, it's a solid tattoo in my opinion. If there's anything to take at all from this video, is that tattoos do require time. Don't be afraid to take your time. Don't be afraid to layer up. Don't be afraid to go ahead and apply the tattoo with confidence. It's also very important to note that this is a basic understanding of the tattooing process and what it can be. It's also very important to note that the tattooing process is going to vary from artist to artist depending on the style, range, and their capability. Quick recap before conclusion. Setting up my tattoo station is step 1. Step 2 is prepping the skin, making sure it's safe to tattoo. Step 3 is applying stencil applicant. Step 4 is placing stencil down. Step 5 is allowing the stencil to dry. And step 6 is applying the entire tattoo and being patient with the process. Once again, these are the final results right here. I want to thank you for watching. I appreciate you, your time, and your support. Have a great day.
Are you wanting to develop your tattooing skill sets? Now you can practice and develop anytime, any place with an assortment of tattooing workbooks that I've created. With these assorted tattooing workbooks, we can practice our basic lining all the way to advanced lining. We can practice shading, shading placement, dot work, textures, and more. All we are going to need is a tattoo workbook of mine. We can use a pencil, pen. We can even use a tattoo machine with a ballpoint cartridge to develop our tattooing abilities further. That means that we don't need tattoo ink, we don't need napkins or petroleum jelly to get to practicing. Simply open one of my tattooing workbooks and get going. It really is that easy. You can get your hands on one of my developmental tattooing assorted workbooks by simply clicking the links in my description or in the pinned comment section below, or navigating on over to Amazon.com, typing in Daniel Yuck, and you'll see all of the assorted tattoo workbooks that I've created come up. If you have an Amazon account, be sure to follow my Amazon author page as well, as I would greatly appreciate your support. Should you have any questions at all, drop them in the comment section down below. I will do my best to assist you in the best possible direction.